Welcome to Adventures into the Unknown. In today's adventure, we are hiking up to the top of this mesa behind us. Now, as far as I can tell, there are no trails going up, so we will be scrambling up somewhere along this mesa face. And so with that being said, let the adventure begin. All right, I'm pretty sure we don't want to go up this way here, but we do need to get up to this top here. However, I think we can go up through here and then across. So we shall see. Not sure the camera shows it very well, but there was a fire that burned through here this past summer. In fact, on the other side of this mesa, a few miles south, a friend of mine, as you all know, Kelly, in my videos, she had to actually evacuate as the fire approached her house. All right, the question is, can we scoot around and up? Let's find out. And we almost bit it. Alright, I'm going to put the camera away and focus on my walking. Pro tip, sometimes when you find a game trail, you can take that up to your destination. However, I'm not going to fit under that cactus. So I'm probably going to have to go this way and around. Katana would fit, but I might be able to walk up and around. We'll see. So again, you can follow game trails. Just keep in mind, sometimes they go where people can't. So instead of trying to go under this cactus on the game trail, I could go on the outside. However, one misstep and I'm down in that gully. What do you think? Outside, up and around, or just a completely different path altogether? So instead of going under, we went around the outside. We made it. Still a sheer cliff drop. So we've got a bit of a goat path, probably a deer or coyote path, heading up, hopefully to this saddle, then to the top, and then we got a ways to go. So we best get to it. Proof of deer using this trail. And then it ends. Maybe they go up that way, but that's the wrong way. We want to go up there. I suppose there's a route. I think that way would be easier. All right, so we've scrambled our way up to a good point to rest. Then we have just a little more to go, and then across, and we should be at our destination. And so we're gonna walk right up those rocks. All right, so we're scrambling on up. What do you think, Katana? We're almost there. Just a little more. And then across flat land, hopefully. We were just down there on that flat spot. Climbed up these rocks. Now we just have this little bit to go. And then across. Looks easy enough, but I can't stress enough. Never do what you see me do in these videos. Don't go off trail. Don't climb over rocks. If you don't have the experience, know your limits and respect nature. Now, I am an idiot, but I definitely respect nature. All right, not sure you can make it out between these saguaros, but that looks like a rock wall up at the top of the mesa where we're headed. So let's get there. Spotted our first piece of pottery, and just over here is another piece. And right back over there is the rock structure we're headed to. Now, if you're not familiar with the Arizona desert, pretty much everything is trying to kill you. This is known as cat claw. There are tiny little thorns all over this bush. As innocent as it looks, it will shred you. And of course you have the prickly pear. Its name says it all. There's a little barrel cactus that's burned out up here as we reach the first part of the structure. Look at that barrel cactus all burned out. What a shame. Oh, there's another one over there as well. But this little guy got burned out and blew out. But this looks like the first room of a pretty big structure we're going to be exploring. I will get the drone out and get us an aerial view, kind of what you would see from Google Earth, but better. So let's explore. The one advantage of having a fire burn through is the rock walls and the pottery shards are much easier to see. That's a pretty big piece right there. Both of these are pretty big pieces. This is a great representation of how these rocks are stacked. And then this is dug out kind of into a pit. Would have been deeper, probably. And then maybe had some wood logs across the top. This is a great example though. What do you think, Katana? Yeah? There's just pottery all over this site. And again, it's probably helped having the fire come through to expose what you might not have seen because of vegetation. There you can kind of see how that's a pit. It would have been much deeper. Walls more than likely would have been higher. And you would have had some perhaps wood logs go across the top. Alright, look at this here. That's a piece of chert. I think someone was working on some type of point. That is pretty cool. Alright, so it's this room that was the most obvious on Google Earth. I had no idea there was this entire site up here. You could kind of see an outline of it, but the number of rooms is just incredible. But this was the first room that kind of gave it away for me. So it goes out to the end of the mesa out there, over to the edge, out to the end of the mesa over there. So it's not uncommon when we come to these sites, the majority of the pottery we find is outside of the actual site itself on a hillside, and this site is no different. You can see this hillside has pottery all over it. It's like this is the ancient can dump back out here. It's just everywhere. Look at that piece of pottery with the black on red. That is pretty incredible. Now, I had just called the side of the hill a can dump, and no sooner than we turned off the camera and started to walk, just looking at all of these pottery shards, we actually come along an old-time can. You can actually see how they opened this back in the day. Pretty big site up here. Back down towards where we came from. It's back down over there. We'll get a room count, more than likely, once we get the drone in the air. So stay tuned for that. Alright, I think that's going to pretty much wrap it up for today's adventure into the unknown. If you enjoyed today's video, if you could do us a favor, spike a like. Also, if you do like these type of videos, you might want to shoot that subscribe button so you don't miss out on future videos. And until next time, seek and enjoy. See ya.